Here's Derek Melinda. He's been doing these really awesome spell tier list streams, where he's basically gone through every single spell and ranked them into a tier list. Absolutely disagree with most of what he says. Man, way overvalues damage. But they're really fun streams. It's a lot of very fun, healthy disagreement. So Derek Melinda from Knights of Last Call had this to say about the spell object reading.
Like, if it's not giving someone a bonus to hit or a penalty to hit, like we don't need it to be a spell slot. Like, we already battle this as a GM, as a player, you battle this, making decisions between what's cool for your character's story and you wanting to role play them in a way that feels thematic and appropriate, and what's just good, because you're going to be fighting fights, and this isn't Pee-wee League. This is the big times, right? This is Pathfinder 2. This is a brutal game. We all know that. It's a brutal game. You get to a severe encounter or higher, and you have to really play well. And you can't just spam your attacks and spam your stuff, because you get your shit pushed in is what will happen. And so you really need to step it up. And that means that a player who chooses to take these spells over, say, something like Fear or Magic Missile or True Strike is, in a sense, doing their group a great disservice. And I don't want the game to just be about tactical miniature combat, Vin. I want the game to be about exploring your character and exploring the world as well. And I want to give my players more options to do that, not less.
His big issue with it is that the way that the game is balanced, it's really brutal, not the Pee-wee leagues. And it means that if you are spending resources on something other than combat, then you're doing a disservice to your whole party. Now, that's true for a lot of the early APs and the games that he runs. When you look at the encounter building table, 2 out of 3 of the thresholds of XP for encounters, you can reasonably expect player death if you don't play it right. That is pretty brutal. You don't have to use the severe and extreme parts of the table. Just because the option is there doesn't mean you have to use it. I love that it is there. I love that I can know when to threaten a TPK and be real serious about it. But if I'm doing a game that's for new players, or it's just hanging out and people wanted to delve into character psyches and that, sure, Pathfinder 2 has the ability to get really tactical and really deadly, but you don't have to. Top it out at moderate. Be like, hey, severe encounters are for boss fights only. You just don't even go to extreme. And that is the big issue that I have with Pathfinder as it's packaged today. Paizo themselves have said many times that APG core rulebook, that's your baseline, that's your course. Then you use Secrets of Magic, a little bit of Guns and Gears to flavor your campaign. The default expectation should not be every book and every source is on the table. Absolutely not. It should be, hey, for this game, we're using Guns and Gears. We're getting a little bit of guns. Or this campaign, we're using Dark Archive. We're getting spooky with it. We're getting a little esoteric with it. Now, is limiting these options the perfect solution for every table? No. That's the point of having options. They're optional. Every table's different. You can curate the experience of your campaign as the GM. So I called this an issue, so that means I should have someone to blame, right? So whose fault is it? Knights of Last Call? Absolutely not. I love them. Some great, healthy disagreement there. They run their games different to how I like to run them. They value things differently to the way I do. That's okay. Is it Red Races, the developer of Path Builder, the app where nearly every option in the universe is available at your fingertips for pretty much free? You can pay one time like $7 to get animal companions. Is it their fault for making it too accessible? Absolutely not. Their app is single-handedly carrying this entire game on their shoulders. They even put a big disclaimer up front when you make a new character. Hey, which books are you using, moron? Check with your GM. Is it Archives of Nethys? Again, no. It's your fault. It's my fault. It's not my fault. I'm not doing it. It's probably not your fault either. But it's the culture of GMs, of saying that you should say yes to everything, that you always say yes, because that's good improv. Here's the thing, that's good improv in play, within the boundaries you've set. Even in real improv, you set those boundaries first. You say, cool, we are in New York. no, you cannot have a scene in Melbourne, right? We're in New York. It doesn't make sense. No to that. And just because I'm not saying that physically to you, doesn't mean you don't know that that's a no. Make it eminently clear what you're okaying at the table. Which uncommon options, which rare options, and which books are okay. You make it about tone, because this is how you enforce the tone of your game. If you're having trouble setting these clear boundaries, then you've got a larger problem that you're going to have to address at some point during the campaign anyway. There's going to be a point where you say, hey, this doesn't fit with the game, and that player is going to fight you again. Set those boundaries. Good improv happens within the gates of the playground.